Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of my first ever Freeform Geode pour. If you missed part 1, I will link that above. And so what I did was there were some spots that didn't stick on the first pour, and that's because I got some silicone on my base table. And so I'm just trimming that off so that I can continue to pour and it will stick. And then I take an alcohol wipe and I clean the surface really well so that I can pour my next layer of resin. All of the supplies I use will be in the description below with links if they are available. So I've got my glitters and of course my good old Art Resin brand resin. I've just mixed up about an ounce here, half hardener and half resin. Stir that up really well and then I'm going to begin adding in my glitters. Now I'm going to portion out my resin into some smaller cups. I'll begin by adding some resin. You can see it's like a tablespoon to some of this holographic glitter. I love this glitter. It's great for making that crystal-y effect in the middle. And I didn't want to add real crystals to this one because I wanted the surface to be flat. And then into that I mix a little bit of that Reflections Frost Blue. And I made it really, really thick. I don't want this resin moving a whole lot. I'm just using it to fill in those gaps where my resin hadn't stuck before and adding some more of that crystal-y effect in this geode piece, which I hadn't intended on doing, but in the end I really think it turned out looking pretty cool. Here I'm using some alcohol ink and a little bit of resin because I just want to tint my resin and have it translucent. I'd like to still see through into the other layers, and that's why I chose to use alcohol inks. Now I'm adding in some copper glitter to about a tablespoon of resin, going really super thick on the glitter again because I don't want it moving a whole lot on my board. And this ends up turning out really good in the end, although at this point I was like, holy cow, what did I do? But that's the great thing about resin. You can just let it cure and keep adding layers until you get what you like. I let this cure for a couple days and then again going in with that alcohol wipe, I get my surface really nice and clean, and then I'm going to start giving it some detail lines with this acrylic paint marker. I got this at Hobby Lobby and I don't think you can get them online. A lot of people like to use Posca pens, just need to find an acrylic pen. So I let those lines dry, and then here we go. We're going to go in with another, I think this was about 8 ounces of art resin, and I'm going to cover the whole thing with a clear coat. So after I've worked it around, I get my culinary torch and work out all those little bubbles, and then I've mixed some glitz from Darice glitter, and I put it on the end of my popsicle stick and I'm just dragging it through that resin that I just poured because I wasn't loving, I felt like it needed a little more bling. And I've done this before and it stayed put, but I probably didn't let my resin sit long enough, so it did spread out a little. But that's okay because I'm about to remedy this. I let it cure again, and then I went in with a glitter glue and I just put that down right over the top, and of course let that dry before I poured another clear coat. So you can see there's quite a few layers in this piece. This is about 12 ounces of resin, And this is my final coat. And at this point I am thinking, I hope that I can get this out of this mold and off the table, because I have never done this before and this has been an awful lot of resin and work. So fingers crossed that this thing comes loose. I let this cure for a couple of days and then I began removing my silicone border, and it came off really well. There were some spots that I had to work, but I was more worried about getting it off the table, but it popped off like nothing else. That clear tape worked perfect. Now I just need to clean up my edges, which I did with a razor blade. Be really careful. And I finished it off with some metallic leaf copper pen, which gave it that really nice metallic finish look, which I like to use with my geodes. So I think it turned out pretty good. I'd love to know what you guys think. I wish that you could see it in person because you can really see down through the layers, and there's even spots where the light shines through. And yeah, if you like what I'm doing, please hit that subscribe button. That really helps me out. And here is that finished product. Hey guys, thanks for following. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and we'll see you next time. Happy creating, everyone.